damn, they gave me mad pernil. What's going on, guys? King Strats here with the cuck.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I'm with the realist. Everybody says that he knows. He's all-knowing. I agree. Because he predicted a lot of things that happened.
Tonight.
Yeah. Go on. Bro, I got salchipapa with no papa. Papa? Please. Oh, I think it's underneath. I got salchipapa. We went to Banana King again. Because it slapped last time. This time I got a pernil. All I get is pernil now. You guys know, like, I'm a pernil, like the boy. I got a pernil arepa. I got a choripan, which is like just a sausage. And I got salchipapa. And he got empanadas and they fucked up. Because he got an arepa with nothing in it. Is it still good?
It's good.
Alright. Because I know I said I wanted a pernil empanada with nothing in it. All I wanted is pernil.
He didn't hear me when I ordered it. That's what happened.
Nah, because there's no arepa there. No one else said arepa.
Wow.
He looked at me 3 times. This guy goes, what do you want in it though? He said chicken, and I said pernil. And he's like, well, what is the chicken? He was drunk.
He must have been.
No, I was, we went to Banana King.
We're better off with Stephen Hurley ordering it.
Well, forget it. This guy didn't even get food. He probably got arrested. But I also got a purple bag. We stopped at a place with no one working there.
There was nobody there.
And
should have bought the kid the,
I wish.
Yeah.
No, I can't say that. I'm gonna get in trouble.
No, it's good.
I didn't get a fork. I'm gonna use salchipapa with my hands. What was I gonna say? Weird day.
Very.
Yeah, right? Alright. I want y'all to see this though. I got a tomatoes, and I got a pernil arepa, which is like, arepas are delicious. They didn't put lettuce on it, which is good.
That's gonna hit.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yep. I know. Exactly.
Their pernil is actually good. Anybody who hasn't had, I say pernil like so much, but I love pernil because it's just like slow roasted pork. It's delicious. Delicious. Weird thought.
Oh boy.
But no, this isn't even a bad, like, this isn't even controversial. Last week was like hella controversial. And people liked it. I checked, like, the analytics in the video. People like...
They like that stuff?
Yeah. When, like, that kind of stuff. I got 2 things. First thing, though. You're gonna need this. Is yours like one? Here.
Greasy.
Bob Greasy.
Brian Greasy.
Ball player. But... Okay. I was watching this thing about subgenres. This is such a weird subject.
What?
Okay. Music subgenres. Music from the last, like, 5 decades that wasn't the main music scene, but was, like, very popular. And I'll give you a perfect example, and you probably get disco in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Disco was a subgenre of, like, it was like a hodgepodge, I guess is the word. I can't even think of the right word, of music. But it was like the predominant, everybody loved it back then. I was watching the thing about this, and I realized how much I like certain subgenres of music.
Well, I love disco.
You like a lot of subgenres too, you just actually haven't thought about it.
Well, isn't disco a subgenre?
100%.
Oh.
But I'm going to give you more, because I thought about their contributions to, like, music and just
Motown.
Another one.
Love Motown.
Doo-wop.
Oh yeah.
Right? Disco.
Well, doo-wop song before the 70s.
I said the last, like, 5 decades. I guess the 70s is the last 5 decades. That's how, like, old we are.
Yeah. For us, yeah.
Because I was thinking doo-wop, Motown. The 80s had new wave music. Right? Like Flock of Seagulls, all that weird shit. But you know what my favorite was? This is a weird thing. New Jack Swing. You know what New Jack Swing
I don't
is?
know what that is.
But you do. You just probably didn't realize there was a name to it. I'm going to give you some New Jack Swing artists. New Edition. Boys to Men.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that would be R&B.
Okay. R&B is the actual thing, right? New Edition is R&B.
Yeah.
Boys to Men is R&B. But, like, when you think about Bobby Brown, like Belle Biv DeVoe, which people might not really realize about Belle Biv DeVoe, especially our age culture. But Belle Biv DeVoe still has a song that's popping. It's 2021. Poison.
Color Me Bad.
Same shit. Yes, Color Me Bad's another one. Like Johnny Gill, Keith Sweat, TLC, Aaliyah, like anything that was in the hip hop type of scene from the late 80s, early 90s. And even though we were like kind of alive back then, we don't really remember it. But now that I'm like older and I'm like going back to this shit, there was a lot of dope ass music from that scene. Like the movies from that scene, like, cause disco had movies, doo-wop had movies. You ever watch Juice? Mm-hmm. I love that movie. That whole that like the soundtrack is that. Like, Michael Jackson did Junior Jack Swing songs.
You like Michael Jackson?
Yeah, hell yeah. You don't?
I don't know. Like,
As a whole, for real?
I was never.
Musically.
Everybody likes the obvious. Like, you know me. I never like the obvious. So,
Like Thriller?
everybody likes Michael Jackson. Everybody likes Prince. I was never like. Did you like Prince?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was never like a thing for me.
Yo, Prince made Vanity. So,
No, not him as a person. I mean his music.
hell yeah. When Doves Cry?
Prince made
Purple Rain?
Carmen Electra too.
Yes. But Vanity, Sheila Easton, like, yeah. Like, really?
Yeah. I can honestly say that.
And I think that might have to do with like our upbringing. I grew up with a lot.
I've never met anybody besides me that doesn't like Michael Jackson or Prince.
I grew up listening to Michael Jackson. Like, when my mom cleaned the house on the weekends, like, not even this time because it's Christmas time. My mom played Jackson 5 Christmas album every goddamn year, bro. It got annoying. I can hear Little Drummer Boy right now in the back of my head. So, Michael Jackson especially, but my sister loved Prince. You know, my sister childhood was the 80s. So for her, like Prince, like that's why I like The Last Dragon so much. She watched that shit every day.
I love The Last Dragon.
It's a great movie.
Phenomenal.
Oh yeah. But she was the one that got me into that. Bruce Leroy, Vanity. My first crush of my life was Vanity. Like, gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, I'm big on that. Especially Michael Jackson. I mean, the man made Thriller. And Thriller's not even his best album. His best album is Off the Wall, which is before Thriller. But, yeah, I love Michael Jackson.
I don't know. I'm weird for that. I get it.
You didn't like his music for real? Even like
When do you listen to you personally? When do you listen to Michael Jackson?
you want me to be real?
Yeah.
All the time.
When?
When I'm like cleaning.
I'm not saying I don't give credit.
No, I'm being honest.
I mean, for me, like, I never listened to.
I'm being like, I'm not saying this for like any, like, you know, obviously it's just like me and you talking and like there's cameras on, but when I cook, when I clean, when I like I'm doing stuff because my mom did. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, I get that.
Like, when my mom used to clean up on Sundays and the whole house smelled like pine sol and heat, like, Off the Wall was playing. So, till this day, Pretty Young Thing, you know, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, like, yes, until this day, yes. I still do. I can sing every word of that shit.
You know why I really think I don't like that? Because I think
But that's Motown.
it's not, though.
Thriller isn't Motown.
No.
Off the Wall is Motown.
I was gonna say, because I love Motown. I think
Thriller
I'm like too
is not-
old school for that. As crazy as that sounds.
No, I love. You're talking about like I grew up listening to Motown, so like the Temptations, you know,
yeah.
shit. That's my shit. Like for real. Obviously, I wasn't alive during that era, but my mom, my dad, they still listen to that shit. So I love it. Like, but like Off the Wall, Michael Jackson's like his first album is very Motown. His sound changed at Thriller, but the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson's first album is very much Motown. Very much. And that's my favorite album of his. I like Thriller. Like, and the funny part about Thriller, that album is, that's not my favorite song on the album. Everybody thinks about, you know, this shit.
Yeah.
Human Nature is the dopest song on the album. That's, you know how many times Human Nature's been sampled? I don't even know if I could play that because they're probably copyrighted. But Chris Brown sampled it. SWV sampled it.
Sure.
I know you like SWV.
Oh yeah.
SWV is New Jack Swing. Like, the movie... Did you watch New Jack City?
Long time ago.
Bro, I still watch that shit all the time.
I haven't seen a movie and forget about it.
See, and I grew up with that shit. Like, New Jack City came out the other day, and I watched the whole thing from start to finish.
Came on TV?
Yeah, HBO all the time.
Really?
Bro, HBO. Wow. I love New Jack City. That's very much my childhood. Like, I don't remember New Jack City coming out, but like, we had all that shit on VHS, so like, we watched it. My sister watched it, my parents watched it. Like, that whole era.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, like, and this is the crazy part.
Above the Rim.
That era, and that's why I like that shit till this day. That era of music, of the like, New Jack Swing era, from like late 80s, early 90s. It's gonna sound crazy when I say it out loud, and I know you're not gonna think about it like I do. It's the first time that black people, in general, were like unapologetically black without like changing who they were, and the rest of the world wanted to be black. It was the first time. I know, like, when I say that out loud, you're like, what? But you think about all of, like, the icons of music and you know, like, athletes and shit. You think about the older ones, like Sammy Davis Jr., and you can go back to, like, you know, some of the tap dancers and shit. Like,
Muhammad Ali.
He might have been the original of that. Jim Brown, that era. The blaxploitation era, they called it that for a reason. Because the 90s was the first time that, like, black people starred in black movies that were owned by black people and directed by black people. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you talk about, like, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, like the John Singleton movies. It never was like that before. In the 70s, there were a lot of movies with Pam Grier, Jim Brown, and so on, but they were directed, owned, and operated by white people. But, like, and, you know, like I said, Sammy Davis Jr. and, like, Frankie Lyman. You can go back to the doo-wop singers. They always put, like, James Brown. You know, he put the conch in his hair, had a little perm, all that other shit, because he was trying to still assimilate, even though they weren't that. Like, that was the first era where, like, there was black people like Spike Lee and all these, like, walking around with Africa pendants making movies where they were the directors of and shit. So, like, that was an era when I was super young, but I was still alive, and I remember, like, just even, like, Tupac and, like, people were walking around with Africa pendants and shit on. Like, that shit never happened before that. So, it's an era that I look back and, like, it was the first time that the other part of the country where people were trying to, like, act black, Vanilla Ice. You know, people like that. Where there was actually, like, a subculture, like, you know, that little, like Martin and Arsenio Hall, and it wasn't like that before. It was the first time. So, it was, like, I still look at that shit, for me, as, like, wow, like, you know, we can really actually do shit and still be ourselves. Like, Arsenio Hall went around with a perm. Does that make sense? When I say it out loud? Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I never really saw it like that.
You know, I get why you wouldn't. That's why I said, I know you probably wouldn't think about it like that, but,
So
you know.
I hear you.
You're Italian, right? So, as an Italian person, don't you feel like there's certain shit where you feel like other people are trying to be, like, even, and again, it might be caricatures or whatever, but do you feel like there's anything that's, like, Italian-American culture where other people were trying to be a part of it? You know what I'm saying? Besides the obvious bullshit, I'm not gonna go like Sopranos, like I don't care, whatever. Because
I don't know. How do you try to be Italian? I don't know.
there was up to me, like,
Yeah.
you think about shit like some of the doo-wop shit in that era, where like it was predominantly, you know, Louis Prima and
Well, doo-wop was Italians and blacks.
yes,
That's
yes,
it.
yes.
So,
That's what I mean. Most of the big names in that era were Italian and black.
yeah.
So,
A couple of Jews here and there.
well, they owned it all.
Yeah, they were.
That's the only thing. You know, but Italians, even though it was kind of like, you guys had your own shit with certain shit. Whether it be, again, I can't speak on behalf of Italians. I'm not Italian, but
There you are.
technically, yes. Nobody's ever gonna walk down the street like, oh, that guy might be Italian. Technically speaking, yes, but
Give me a hard time over here.
You've been trying to.
I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna
Last 45 minutes you've been trying
forget about it. But I hear every word you're saying.
You know, these milk-fed veal, you know, you can pound and pound it.
It's a weird thing growing up, like, because a lot of things you saw were like movies. All the kids movies I watched, think about the movies you liked as a kid that were like kids movies. There were no black kids in those movies, unless it was like one black kid maybe.
Kidding me, Bebe's kids, man. I love
Again,
Bebe's kids.
that's the New Jack Swing era. Yes. Where it was a black cast with a black director and a black star. Yes. Yes. But before that, think about the movies you watch. You know?
Well, I don't think people wanted to be black. I think it was just the first time it was
Black
at
culture.
the forefront, and some people took to it and they liked it.
I'm not necessarily saying
Right.
people wanted to be black, but it was the first time where people started to try to assimilate towards black culture.
Well, sure, because it was finally introduced.
That's my point.
It's purity.
Well, not necessarily purity, but yes, it was something that was
Culture, though.
It was unapologetically black. Like when I think about, like, again, the Spike Lee movies, right? Those came out back then, and the John Singleton movies, and so on. Like, it was the first time where it was like unapologetically like. And then there were people that were trying to. Again, black culture was always been appropriated, but it was the first time that like black people were at the forefront of it. You know, whether it be the dances, the styles, the clothes, the music, the whole thing. Where it was like, now you're doing black culture, whereas before that, there were a lot of things like, okay, you know, like Little Richard and shit, where a lot of people say Elvis stole his whole shit from other people. But he became the forefront of it. Or like, you can go back to Josephine Baker in the 20s and so on and so forth, where this was the first time where people were like, oh, you're trying to be like, you know, New Edition. You're trying to be like Blackstreet. You're trying to be like, you know, Spike Lee. It was the first time. Before that, we didn't really have shit like that. So like, you started seeing this like influx of like people wearing like black school shit, like Howard shirts and HBCU culture, where it wasn't A Different World, The Cosby Show, and so on. Where before that, you had George and Wheezy,
Urkel.
Yeah, like even Carl Winslow for the most part. Before that, you had like George and Wheezy.
It's funny that you see it that way.
I guess it's something that you might have never thought about.
No way. I just watched it.
I get it.
You know?
Yes, I do get that. But as much as Bill Cosby is maligned now, back then, there was never a show where, like, you know, like, people saw, like, again, the Jeffersons, like, George and Wheezy, they got their shit and they kind of moved on up, right? Or, like, the Good Times, which I love Good Times, but it was, like, a show where it was just showed, like, the ins and outs of whatever. Bill Cosby was the first time where he was, like, a fucking doctor, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, just, he was a doctor. Nobody ever thought about it. It's a weird thing to think about out loud, but that era, it kind of brought that shit in. Where all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, black people are doctors too. Okay, well, before that, it was never like that. You know, it was always a story. It was always like, okay, we gotta be able to sing or have like, you know, you like Wilt Chamberlain. But that was the
I
first
think it's
time.
different for me because I've been up on old stuff since I'm a kid.
That's the era that I know, though. This is something that I've always felt. I just never thought about it out loud.
Like, I've been watching movies since Sidney Portier.
I love Sidney Porter.
Me too.
What
So
is-
like, it was never like that for me. I just always was
Okay.
watching. You know what I mean?
you like yes, but you like Sidney Portier, right? Sidney Portier is one of the few black actors of the golden era of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the few that are still living, right?
Is he still there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think he's one of like 3 actors that were like headliners in the golden era of Hollywood.
Yeah. Right.
Sidney Portier won an Oscar.
Yep.
What movie?
Heat of the Night.
What movie is he most known for?
Somebody Came to Dinner or something like that.
What was the movie
What's the
about?
name of the movie?
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Guess Who's Coming
They
to
made it again with Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac. Guess what was the movie about?
I never saw the whole movie, believe it or not.
What was it about?
I don't know.
It was about a white woman who had a black boyfriend.
That's what I thought, yeah.
That's my fucking point, though.
And he won the Oscar for that? Or no?
Honestly, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
I think he won for Heat of the Night, though.
But my point is that
Great movie.
looking back, and I'm gonna look it up just because I don't want to like say something and I don't really know the truth. But most of the time when people talk about Sidney Poitier, growing up, this is fucked up that this is true. Miss Baskinger made me do a report on Sidney Poitier. She forced me to.
Oh, yeah? That's awesome, though. Why, because you're black?
Yes. I look back And I'm not sure why she did it, right? But she made me look up black people all the time. And now I'm like, I look back and I'm like, did she do that because she wanted me to know about black culture? Or did she, because my parents, one of the first books they ever got me, there was a book about all these like African kings and queens and shit. There were these little books and they got me like a bunch of them. So I learned about all these like the Bantu tribes and shit, like no joke. But in school, they didn't really teach you shit like that, you know? So she made me look up people like W.E.B. Du Bois, Paul Robeson, and Sidney Porter. Those are the 3 reports I remember doing back then. So I look back and I'm like, yo, did she make me do that? Like, okay, Sidney Porter is one of the last surviving major stars from the golden age of Hollywood era. He's the oldest living and earliest surviving Best Oscar winner.
Wow. He's got to be in his 90s.
He won the Academy Award Best Actor for Lilies of the Field. Lilies of the Field, where he played a handyman helping a group of German-speaking nuns build a chapel.
Never even heard of it. I could have sworn he was.
But here's the thing, and this is more of what I was talking about, what I was alluding to. Sidney Poitier also received acclaim for most of his movies, such as Porgy and Bess, A Raisin in the Sun, and A Patch of Blue. Right? But he continued to break ground in his successful films in the 60s, mostly which dealt with issues of race and race relations. To Sir with Love, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and In the Heat of the Night. All of those movies had to deal with race. So even though he won, because you know who the first black actor to win an Oscar was? Gone with the Wind.
Really?
Yeah. You know it?
No.
Okay.
I'm not good with that.
I don't want to step over my own shoes here, but Gone with the Wind is...
I've never seen Gone with the Wind, you know that?
Do you know that Gone with the Wind until this day is the the highest selling movie of all time?
I know.
When adjusted for
inflation.
inflation.
Isn't it like 3.5 hours long? Long
Yes.
movie.
It's very long. Gone with the Wind is the story of... I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but the movie is set against the Civil War and the Reconstruction era. It starts with Civil War and goes towards Reconstruction. So the era after Civil War. Just to double check myself, but Hattie McDaniel, you know Hattie McDaniel? Hattie McDaniel won an Oscar in Gone with the Wind. Best supporting actress. She's the first African American to ever win an Oscar. This is 1939. She couldn't accept her own award. She couldn't actually go get her own shit.
1939?
They did not allow her to go to her own award show where she won an Oscar.
Wow.
And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
It's terrible.
But I agree. Look, yes, it is. And back then, up until the 70s, where people started to get their own roles, Sidney Poitier, but even he had to play. What did Jadakiss say in the song Why?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the 90s was the first time where, like, Martin Lawrence, Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy, you know, and I can name musicians forever. Whitney Houston, even Mariah Carey, who was black at that point, and she's not anymore. But, like, that whole era was the first time that Higher Learning, you know, like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. And that era was the formative years of me being, like, super fucking young. So it's what I still look back at, which is where we were originally going to, was that New Jack Swing era where my sister watched Juice all the time and all those movies. I can still quote them off the top of my head. As crazy as it sounds. Like, you didn't grow up in your house listening to, like... You listen to a lot of doo-wop music. Where did you get that from? That's good.
What is that?
That's good.
I know. And they messed mine up, bro. I mean...
I tried to give you this.
Nah.
Nah. But you listen to a lot of stuff from...
That's crazy, right? Like, where did I get doo-wop from? So, obviously my parents, but it's not like they had CDs they could have gave me.
But
There were no doo-wop CDs.
But didn't they listen to it? Like, around the house, as a kid?
My father had this cassette tape of like 20 tapes of the doo-wop's greatest hits. And I was really young when I started listening to it. I loved it. But not only that, movies.
Oh, yeah. Goodfellas, Casino.
Yep. Even like Sandlot.
Yeah, that era.
You know?
Yeah, I loved Sandlot as a kid.
Yep.
But movies like Sandlot,
Stand
which I
By
loved.
Me.
Stand By, like... You love Sandlot. I love Sandlot.
Love it.
Like, that's, you know, movies that we watched on VHS. So, when it comes to movies like that, and again, this is why movies like Black Panther had significance to me. The entire cast of Sandlot, how many black people were there?
One.
One. The pitcher. De Nunez, who wasn't actually black. He was Hispanic.
Really?
His name was De Nunez. Yes.
Never realized it.
He was Spanish. Like, there was always just unseen shit in my head where when you watch movies like this, it was like all these happy ass times. There were never any fucking black people around. So I was like, in my own thoughts, like the Goonies. Like, why are there never any black? So I was like, okay, even the Power Rangers, whole shit. Like, I always felt like they had to like throw a black guy in. But when I watched movies like that, it was like predominantly black cast and shit. So I was like, okay, well maybe we're humans too. So when I saw the Black Panther, and I was like, okay, well finally there's like a black superhero. I was like, well fuck it, bet, like I can be one. I watched Batman. My dad loved Batman, Superman, all that shit, right? But there were never. There's no black people in Gotham, bro. I know it's weird to say.
I know. I guess you gotta take the times too, though. Like,
Miss Baskinger was the first
they
teacher.
threw an Asian in the Goonies.
Data, who was a
Yeah.
stereotypical Asian.
Right.
Right? He built shit with his parents. He had the shoes, the slick shoes, and he did math. He was really smart.
Like, I'm sure if the Goonies was shot in somewhere in Africa, there would be not many white people.
But they would never make a movie like that in Hollywood. That's the point.
I'm just saying.
I agree with you.
You know?
They would never make a movie like that in Hollywood. Which is why movies like The Black Panther held such significance, because it was for me like, all of a sudden, just like, you can do shit in Wakanda too. I know it sounds weird. I'm not even saying it like I'm like, whatever, but
Another take.
I watched Kindergarten Cop the other day. There's not a black person in that whole fucking movie.
Yeah, I watched the movie the other day too. I thought the same thing, and I can't remember.
But that's most Richie Rich. Like, all these movies we watch, Little Rascals, are just buckwheat.
What was I watching? I can't remember.
Salty Papa, look away. Lizzie. There's a lot of them though. Especially, like, I'm a comic book guy.
Casino. There's no black people.
Okay, another movie we watch all the time as kids too. Goodfellas. How many black people are in Goodfellas?
Samuel Jackson's a good
Samuel L. Jackson is always that guy.
He is.
He's also in Star Wars. How long was Samuel L. Jackson in Goodfellas?
Not too long.
You know what happened. Exactly. Right? And if you listen
The movie dies. I mean, come on.
No, I'm not saying it like that.
Oh, well. He does die.
I'm talking about how I'm not talking about, like, yes, there's shit like that in Hollywood, but I'm more talking about how I thought of when I was a child. Like, you know how kids are. When we did stuff, whether you were a music group, movie group, you're like, okay, we're the Power Rangers. I didn't have a fucking choice. I was the Black Ranger. Right? If you were so-and-so, like, think about New Jack era music and shit like that. How many, you name the one group that had a white person in it. Who said it?
Calling me back.
Calling me bad. Other than that, it was just fucking black people. I could be anybody. I watched New Jack City. I didn't want to be Nino Brown necessarily, but I could if I wanted to. That was the first time. Yeah, you had a cast like that where I could do that, where I didn't have to be the black, you know what I mean? I didn't have to be the Black Ranger. Like, if you're Little Rascals, I'm Buckwheat. I had a fucking choice. There was actually two of them. There was two black people in Little Rascals, but still. It's just a weird thing in the back of your head. I'm just giving you shit like that, you know?
You like Action Jackson?
Carl Weathers. I love Carl Weathers. Hell yeah. Even Apollo Creed. I'm like, guy, come on now, Clubber Lang. But you always have to root for this. Like, even, you think about Punch-Out. Lil Mac, right? He's a little underdog. It's a weird thing that it was always like that. And no matter what. But yeah. Casino, Goodfellas, you know, so on. I'll give you another example, weird one. Selena.
Never saw it.
The movie?
Nope.
Really? With J-Lo? Okay. Well, the whole point of the movie was like...
I know about it, I just never saw it.
So, do you understand Edward James Olmos? You probably hate that guy. He just has that look of guys, you know, like, well...
I don't like anybody. You know.
In the original part, in the part where before Selena was born, Edward James almost played a character who was a doo-wop singer, who was too Spanish, Hispanic, Mexican, Latino, to do anything but Latin restaurants and places like that. But they didn't like him because he was singing Blue Moon. You get what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't fit in anywhere. So he taught Selena how to do some of that stuff.
Great song, Blue Moon.
I saw him standing. Do you know that Manchester City sings that before every game?
Why that?
Manchester City, blue. They were blue. Blue Moon.
Oh, yeah?
Blue Moon Rising. No joke. Yeah.
Huh.
Blue Moon. Funny story, but yeah. But I was just going into stuff like that. That was like, I was watching, what the hell was I watching when it came? You know what it is? On TikTok, a lot of these songs are starting to get popular again.
The old school stuff.
Yeah, and I really like that shit. Like, Keith, I was listening to Blackstreet, Keith
Oh, that.
Sweat.
I thought you meant like, put your head on my shoulder.
That's another one. Not way back, but yes. That's Paul Anka.
Yeah.
You know more about that than me. I like that shit, but you love it, you know. Like, that's Paul Anka, right? I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. That was a big one, the Silhouette Challenge. But
Good challenge.
I'm not going there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going there.
What? It's good for you.
Do you think the golden era of Hollywood is better than the shit is now?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question, though. Seriously, why? I agree with you. Why is older shit, even the 90s, 90s music, 90s sports, 90s culture, as opposed to now, why is it better? I still don't know why. Even though I agree.
It's hard to answer that. I think we always appreciate the stuff before us, first of all.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, even when you're in high school, you appreciate the class before you. There's just something about that. Right? Like, you look up, not look up to it, but there's always a mystique to it. Or some kind of whatever. So, like, why would it change for music and movies? But aside from that, I think as things go on, they get worse.
Do you think that's you? Or like our generations like that? We're both millennials. Mm-hmm. Would you agree that Generation X felt that way about us?
Yeah.
How we feel about Gen Z?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the problem is, I feel that way like generations. So
You mean
you
what?
can't go by me. But, like,
What do you mean?
Like, I was born in the 80s, but I love the 50s. Music, movies,
Yeah,
personalities.
I agree with that. I
like Dionne Warwick.
She was fantastic.
Nobody even knows Dionne Warwick in our era. Who's gonna know Dionne Warwick?
I did.
Yeah, they'll know her for the
Not that psychic shit.
psychic. Exactly. I know her because of her music.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
But see, I grew up in a house, like, I grew up watching James Cagney, but also listening to Diana Ross. It was a very weird house.
Right, but how many are really doing that?
I don't know.
Not many.
It's weird because, again, like, am biracial. So my father watched a lot of, like, White Heat, Angels with Dirty Faces,
Right.
you know, shit like that. Like,
Yep.
I grew up watching that shit. So I love that, but I also love, like, Pam Grier in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, well, I mean, she's, forget, but she's also
Let me tell you something.
Snake Plissken, but
Stop. Stop.
I watched that the other day.
Good movie.
Escape for LA.
Yeah.
It's not good.
You're Snake Plissken. Stop.
But why is it better?
Even the no-name actors and actresses were better then. It's weird. I don't know. It's like everything became too, like...
That's my question. What is it?
I don't know. Everybody thinks they're, you know... you know?
Yes.
They think there is cake. And back then, it was just they had different character. Like, people were gentlemen. The women acted like ladies. It was just different. Whatever that means, that's what it was.
But,
Like,
okay.
Give me somebody that comes close to Sidney Porter.
Now?
Yeah.
Denzel Washington.
Maybe. After him, who else?
Will Smith.
No way.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Look back at his numbers. Look back at his
Yeah, I know. No, I like Will Smith, but he hasn't come
I know
close
you
to
do.
Sidney.
I'm not
Yeah.
debating whether you not like him. But you don't think he's in that.
No. Denzel, yes. Will Smith.
Think about it, though. Yeah, think about it.
I know.
Will Smith got classics. Will Smith, Oscar nominated.
Enemy of the State.
Emmy nominated. Oscar nominated. I feel like people don't give Will Smith enough respect. I get, because Denzel is Denzel. Right? Obviously, you know.
I wouldn't put Will Smith in Denzel's
First black actor to win Best Actor Oscar. Sidney Porter, yes. And then Denzel, Jamie Foxx. But you really don't think Will Smith is in that category? Think about some of his movies. Go back.
I know.
He's really, like, elite. Think about it. What hasn't he done? What hasn't Will Smith done? I feel like people don't put respect on Will Smith's name.
I don't know, it's the funky stuff he does like that. What's that? When he's on the train, what's that movie? Wild West.
Denzel Washington has done some really fucking stupid train movies. Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. What was the other one?
He was in that?
Fuck yeah, it was with John Travolta.
That was also a remake. I didn't
Yes,
see
it
that
was.
one. I didn't see that one.
There's another one he did.
It was actually called Train, wasn't it?
It's with Chris Pine.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
Yes, it was. I also liked Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but people said it was decent.
I'm also one of the few people who like Wild Wild West.
Yeah, I can't do that with Kevin Kline or whatever his name is.
Yes,
What's his
Kevin
name?
Kline. And Kenneth
And I
Branagh.
like him, but
Kenneth Branagh.
terrible. I don't like that kitschy stuff, you know?
What do you mean kitschy?
It's like not my thing.
It's a great movie.
I don't like that Western stuff.
It really isn't, but it is. But
Putting
it's
a
not.
cowboy hat on, I'm over it. I'm over it.
So you don't like even like the Clint
I
Eastwood,
knew you were gonna say that. Very few and far between. I'm not a spaghetti Western guy. I don't like it.
even Django.
Django's not really a Western.
It is a Western. It's
Django, I
Quentin
give a pass.
Tarantino is such a huge spaghetti Western person.
And I give that one a pass because it had a lot more substance to it. I feel like
You don't think Wild
it
Wild
wasn't just like
West? You know that Wild Wild West was the same idea? Jim West, like his character was a slave.
I'm a level with you. I never really saw the whole movie Wild Wild West because it was like
You
I
have
didn't know
to
if it
watch
was
this.
drama or comedy or what was it?
Both.
Yeah, no good.
Ulysses Grant is in it.
There you go.
What's the problem with U.S. Grant?
Nothing. I'm not gonna watch a movie with him. I don't like it. I don't like it. It does nothing
Just give
for
it a
me.
chance.
I can't. Like, it's hard for me to get through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Not tough.
It's a good movie, but it's not my thing.
What about Burt
I
Reynolds?
never I like Burt Reynolds, but it depends. Depends. Like The Longest Yard, phenomenal.
The original.
Original.
Yeah.
Incredible Burt Reynolds. But then he does some stuff. It's like Burt.
Deliverance.
Deliverance is a good movie though.
I'm surprised you watched that.
I know, but
You watched Deliverance?
oh yeah,
The whole thing.
I had to. Yeah.
Every scene.
Good movie.
Even
It's disgusting, but yeah.
you want to watch Pulp Fiction?
No, that's different.
How?
Putting stuff in the mouth, no good. They
I don't
didn't
wanna
do
go
that-
into
They
the
didn't do
detail.
that in Deliverance.
I mean, this whole squeal like a pig thing.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, it's
Pulp
pretty-
Fiction that's
Deliverance-
sideburns, everything. No,
Deliverance has sideburns.
not like that. Not like that. I mean, they should have named Pulp Fiction Sideburns.
But you wouldn't put Will Smith in the same category as a Sidney Porter.
No, absolutely not. Not
I don't
many
think
guys
you-
today I would put in that category.
I don't think you can because they came before.
True. But it was so different. Look at the
Brando.
way they talked, the way they did everything.
Yes. There's
It was like actual talent. Today, you can imagine
Greta Garbo.
these guys. Oh, Greta Garbo, forget about it.
Humphrey
They didn't
Bogart.
have any special effects back then.
No.
It was all acting. Think about that.
I'm gonna name a movie. Did you? Okay. I know your cousin loves this movie. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Casablanca.
You don't like it.
Never saw it.
What?
Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, can't do it.
Oh my God.
I can't do it.
I'm not even joking.
You know I don't like the obvious.
But it's not about that. There's a reason why Casablanca is so critically acclaimed. It's such a good movie.
White House.
Stop.
That's what it is.
No, it's not.
Casablanca means White House.
It's not Spanish.
I'm done.
It's not in Spanish.
I know, but that's what it means.
Okay, so
What is it about, Casablanca?
It's
It's a
about
love story, isn't it?
technically speaking, yes.
Yeah. Done. I'm done with it. Not doing it.
But it's set. No, I'm wrong because you're no. No matter what
And I like. Isn't Humphrey Bogart in it?
Oh, yeah.
I love Humphrey Bogart.
I do not like that movie.
No. Let me tell you something. I can't stand Humphrey Bogart, but I love Humphrey Bogart.
Do you know in the AFI's top 100 movie quotes of all time?
That's number one.
Casablanca's they're like 8
Top
times.
5, right?
It's in there like 8 times.
Top 5, they're all 5, like you.
I did this too. I'm gonna do this to you. I have to do this because I know you're good with shit like this.
Play it again, Sam.
It's in there.
I know.
I'm gonna do this.
I should like it.
It's such a good
My
movie.
name.
It's such a good movie.
Humphrey Bogart. My favorite movie with Humphrey Bogart. You know what it is?
White Heat. It's not in it.
It's not it. Great movie, though. I love that movie.
My God, when you were trying to watch something
Phenomenal
when you
movie. Yeah, Shane. Did you ever see the Kane Mutiny?
No.
Oh, man. Was
No.
it the Kane Mutiny or the Mutiny on the Bounty?
Hold on.
Where are you going?
You're fucking good. Try to switch your battery.
That's when.
All right.
Have you seen Citizen Kane?
Yes. I'm not the biggest fan, but I love Hitchcock. Like,
Yeah.
love. To me, Alfred Hitchcock is probably the most copied fucking person of all time.
Yeah. Talk about ahead of your time.
Yeah, like
Him and who was the other guy that was ahead of his time?
H.G. Wells.
Yes. Well, that guy, forget about
I
it.
mean, War of the Worlds. Do you know when War of the Worlds was written?
30s. Wasn't it?
I was looking this up the other day because I do this shit all day. Like I fall down rabbit holes like where.
I think it was 34.
Okay, War of the Worlds was written. Obviously, I said that already. They redid it again, but H.G. Wells wrote War of the Worlds in 1897.
18.
What the fuck? Think about it. Think about what I just said. I had to Google it because I knew it was like that century, but War of the Worlds is a science fiction novel by H.G. Wells, first serialized in 1897. He wrote it between 1895 and 1897. It's one of the earliest stories ever to detail a conflict between
But
mankind.
when did the movie come out?
What, the Tom Cruise version?
No, the original War of the Worlds movie.
Fuck if I know. What does it matter?
That might be the 30s.
Okay, film. 53.
Oh, 53. You know, people really thought that aliens were coming in 53? That's how innocent they were?
Do you understand how fucking crazy it is that he thought of that in 1895?
Yeah.
Like, you're Mr. Conspiracy Theory. He thought of that in 1895.
Yeah.
How do you think of that? Unless you saw it.
You tell me.
I agree with you. Listen, let me just reiterate this. A lot of people watched this shit last time and they thought that I didn't believe some of the stuff you were saying. I do believe some of the stuff he says. The difference between me and him is only one thing and one thing only. I believe things on more of a factual standpoint where he thinks more outside the box than I do. My thinking is a lot, and I'm not saying in a bad way or a good way. It's just a lot more structured than you. I need to see fucking like data where you'll be like, nah, that's what it is. And a lot of times you're right.
But you really don't need that, though. That's why I'm confused.
Me. When? Name me one thing where I know.
You connect the dots plenty in life.
But I connect them by facts.
Not really. You have intuition.
But they're usually based off of facts. Again, you can call me out. Give me one way that I didn't do that.
I don't know.
I really don't, because I'm the type of person where I don't need beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, this isn't a
But
jury.
like what we talk about, nobody's ever gonna be like, yeah, we're drinking blood. You know, nobody's gonna do that. So you're never gonna know that. So there comes a point when you're gonna have to connect your own dots, facts or no facts.
I'll give you one. Kennedy.
What about it?
Did Lee Harvey Oswald do it?
Absolutely not.
We both believe that.
Right.
Why?
The Zapruder film. Yeah.
That's me. I don't know how it happened, but there's two.
Exactly.
Yes. But when you let me hold on, Bill.
Yeah. You get mad.
But there is always overwhelming evidence that points in that direction. At the end of the day, neither of us know exactly how that day went down, but there's too much stuff that we actually physically see that says there's no way that this could have happened. The percentages lean too far in the other direction. And that's why I don't believe it. That's the way that my mind goes. I don't need like a smoking gun, Nixon, but I need stuff that shows me like it can't, this is impossible. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Whereas like you're thinking you'll fill in a lot more lines than I will in between that, where you're like, listen, this is like, I'm not fucking dumb.
Because what's my famous line? I don't know necessarily what it is, but I know what it ain't.
Yeah.
And if I know what it ain't, that leads me more to what it possibly could be. And if too many people are saying the same thing, chances are it's what it is.
What's conspiracy theories are theories.
Right.
What is the basis of a theory?
Well, it could be a couple of things.
But the definition of what a theory is. Like, nuts and bolts version. Why is a theory...
is a proposed idea that you're
But
trying
why
to
is a
prove.
theory... Why is a theory a theory?
Because it's not factually based.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. There are hypotheses, and this could have happened. Why is it called the Big Bang Theory? Because we cannot prove that it happened.
Right.
We just have some stuff that say that if this could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anybody's wrong who doesn't believe the Big Bang Theory happened. Because there's really not that much that says it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, well, this probably could have happened because there's no other explanation we can think of better right now.
Right.
That's the way I look at a lot of conspiracy theories.
And usually when things go bang, it's unorganized, not organized.
I mean, there's no gravity out there. It's different.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, Bill Maher, but
That's what it is.
that's my thought process. Your whole thing with the McDonald's thing, for example.
Right.
I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I just can't say you're right yet.
It's totally crazy. I admit that.
It's really not.
I know. Like that's why this is enough for me. You understand?
That's what I'm going.
Correct.
I need this. You need this.
Right.
That's the only difference. I'm not saying, and people were like, oh, well, you know, here, look this up. And my whole thing is, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just need more before I'm going to be like, you're right.
And a lot of times I don't back myself up because I don't even know where I get stuff sometimes.
True.
But I know it's there. As stupid as that sounds.
I've never once told you were wrong. I just said it's probably not right.
Crazy, right?
That, especially with stuff like that, or like the spirals.
Day.
Yeah.
Right?
No one ever said Randy Quaid was wrong.
Oh, forget it. They were the poor guy.
You know, Dennis Quaid is considered one of the best actors ever to have not won an Oscar or any award.
Really?
Yeah, because Leo got his.
Huh. I mean, they gave one to Javier Bardem, so.
He's got an Oscar.
I know. I said they gave
Multiple.
They gave one to him.
But these guys get multiple. You know he's really good in? You don't watch this. Skyfall. So good. Why don't you like James Bond?
Nope.
Why are you so against James Bond?
I'm against the mainstream.
What do you mean?
I don't like stuff like that.
It's not James Bond.
Did you ever see Maverick?
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Great movie.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to give you this. I did this quiz the other day. And you're good with stuff like this, so I got to give you this.
Oh, boy.
Okay. AFI, this was back, I forgot what year it was, doesn't matter. They did a top 100 movie quotes of all time. Can you guess the #1 movie quote of all time?
I thought it would have been Played Against Him. No.
I did tell you this, though. Casablanca has the most featured movie on that. That's
All
true.
the gin joints.
Also on there. It's not Casablanca.
From
I'll give you
Ocean's
that.
11, though, or from?
It's not Casablanca. I will give you that. I love
It's
Casablanca.
not on there, but you want the truth? You can't.
You Can't Handle the Truth is on there.
But not #1.
No, but it is on there.
Me charged with a crime. Is that what this is? Me charged with a crime?
That line was improvised.
Oh, everything that guy does is improvised.
True. Here's Johnny was also improvised, which is also on there. I doubt you got this.
Jaws. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Jaws is on there. Not #1 though.
Is it gettable?
I think #2 is gettable for you, not #1. #1 is you think about best movie of all time by inflation and all that other shit. So it's that. It's Gone with the Wind.
It's Gone with the Wind.
And it's a quote that everybody uses. Everybody. It is used though.
Here's looking at you, kid.
That's also Casablanca.
Oh, it's Casablanca.
That's
They're the same movie.
Casablanca is so culturally relevant, bro.
I know.
Casablanca is 42. Gone with the Wind 39.
What's one?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I don't give a darn.
See? Like, even if you've never seen that's why it's so significant.
Wow.
I've never watched Gone with the Wind. I've
You
read.
gotta be there for 2 days.
I actually read the book.
It's like The Godfather.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Number 2. This is where it gets spicy. Number 2. You know this movie. You very much know this movie. You want me on that wall.
It's not that.
No.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Think about big time movies. Like,
Yeah, big time movies, I mean.
I can just start telling you.
Give me the movie.
The Godfather.
Is it The Godfather?
Number 2.
Gonna make him an all free care reviews.
Correct.
Yeah, I said that. Didn't I say it?
No,
I just,
maybe you did.
we'll go check the tape.
What are you, John Gruden?
I figured. Let's go to the tape, man.
Number 3. I love this shit. You know this quote. But I don't know if you've watched this movie. Can I give you the movie?
Yeah.
On the Waterfront.
Stella!
No, that's on their
I
own.
could have had class. I could have been a contender.
Yep. You don't understand.
That was a streetcar named Desire, Stella.
It's on here.
Yeah.
Number
Charlie,
4.
I could have had class. You got a one-way ticket to Palookaville.
Why is that like everybody
That's
does that?
what it is.
Yeah, they do it in the well, because you know why.
Yeah, I could fight.
Number 5 is Here's Looking at You, Kids.
Entertainment.
Number 4, Toto. I've got a feeling we're not in
Ah,
anymore.
very good. Absolutely.
Number 6, Clint Eastwood says it.
Make my day, punk.
Go ahead, make my day.
You feeling lucky?
Number 7, Sunset Boulevard. I don't think you've seen that.
Sunset Boulevard.
Not Sunset Park.
Oh, what I was saying, what time is
This
it?
guy's going to Freako's Star.
Get it! Sunset Park, what time is it? Sunset Boulevard. I don't know.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Do you know who Cecil DeMille was?
Cecil B. DeMille.
He's one of the greatest directors.
Yeah, forget about it.
Supposedly he's the original prick.
Yeah?
He walked around in like the horse pants.
The gauchos?
Yeah, like in the fucking seat, you know, with the fucking megaphone. He's the original of that.
Makes sense.
Number 8, Star Wars.
Luke.
That is on there, but it's not that one.
Well, you know what? Because according to the Mandela effect,
That's not what he says. Yes.
that's not what he says.
He says, "No, I am your father."
Right.
That is correct. That's not Mandela effect. That's real.
No, but everybody knows is as Luke, I am your father.
Sitting behind Darth. You are right. But that's
Yeah, but that's the Mandela, bro.
true.
I don't know. I never saw Star Wars.
May the Force be with you.
Ah, makes sense.
Number 9.
Get off my plane.
Wait, I thought it was 1.
No, that's the Air Force One, man.
Oh wow! I thought you Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Fasten Your Seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy night. Number 10 is Robert De Niro. What quote? This is where it gets spicy.
Oh, that's easy. You're talking to me.
You talking to me?
Nobody else in the room
Number 11 is a movie called Cool Hand Luke.
talking to me. Yeah, eat all the eggs. Go ahead. See how many eggs you could eat. Go ahead, Luke. But I don't know what line it is.
What we have here is a
Is
failure.
it failure to communicate?
Number 12 is Apocalypse Now.
Nah, no good.
You hate that movie.
I don't know.
Why?
Because I don't like the name. I don't like nothing about it.
You never watched Apocalypse Now?
Never.
You know what it's about?
The war.
Which one?
Vietnam.
You know.
Yeah, no good.
Martin Sheen?
Yeah, Martin Sheen. Did you ever see Cadence? You never saw Cadence. That's an awesome...
You've never seen Casablanca.
No.
You can't use that with me anymore.
What?
You can't use you've never seen.
No, I can use that because you've never seen Midnight Run.
Let's have it.
You've never... Forget about it.
Chucky Grodin, may he rest in peace, passed away this year.
Yeah. You gotta watch it. Top #1 comedy movie of all time. Cadence is a great movie. Charlie Sheen is in it with his dad.
Isn't that the Mandela effect?
What's that? It's Charlie Sheen, yeah.
What is the Mandela
The
effect?
Mandela effect. That's
Where?
dead. Y'all want to talk about it?
What
Uncle
is
Murda.
Well, what is the Mandela?
The Mandela effect is when people remember the same thing, the same wrong thing.
Yes.
It could be about any piece of.
And why do they call it the Mandela effect?
Because people think Nelson Mandela died in prison when he really didn't.
No.
But people remember that he died and it never happened.
Which I don't get, because Mandela became president after he,
Yeah, but people remember him dying at a certain point in time.
but he didn't.
He didn't.
He was the president.
My thing is, how do they know that people believe this? Did they poll people?
No, because there's a lot of overwhelming people. I don't know. You're right in that.
Right? Like, how do you prove
Remember
it?
the one I showed you where you lost your mind?
Which one? Bernstein?
No, the website.
Which one? What?
When you click the website and you type it in backwards.
Oh, but that's not Mandela.
No, but
No,
that was the same thing though.
That, forget it. How? How
didn't click
do
it.
people, how is that not everywhere?
I told you that, and you went, no way.
You brush it off like it's nothing to me. I'm over here going, how?
Because they hacked it.
Who?
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston? Get your hands off me. That's on there, you damn dirty ape.
Yes, it is.
I know it is. Love Planet of the Apes.
What's another Mandela
Cornelius.
effect? People that don't understand what a Mandela effect, he already explained it.
Yeah, Mandela effect.
But what's some popular ones? There's the one
that gets me there's two that get me the most.
I was going to say there's
Berenstein Bears get me. That's insane.
I don't believe that.
It's not true.
They were like Berenstein
I
Bears.
challenge
There's
that.
no A.
They're stained.
For people who don't know, there was a popular cartoon.
Been a while since I could. Yeah, how is that possible?
There was a popular cartoon bear
Impossible.
family where they were called the Berenstain Bears.
They're not. It's the Berenstein
Every person,
Bears.
and this is where the Mandela effect messes with your head. Every person, including both of us, remember it being spelled Berenstein Bears as a kid. I don't care what anybody says. That is what it was.
That's
I will
insane.
die on that hill.
It's insane.
That's what happened,
I know.
which is impossible.
What did they do? Change the books at some point and to fool everybody?
They had to. The one that gets me more
And
than
the
anyone.
Monopoly.
Yes,
The guy never had a monocle.
but he did.
But where is it then?
The other Mandela effect he's talking about. If you played the game Monopoly,
Forget it.
every person, again,
If you ask somebody, what did the Monopoly guy have?
you asked me,
Yeah.
and it bugged me out.
The first thing you
I
say.
didn't think about it until I was like, yo. And then you showed me, I went, this guy never had a monocle?
There's no monocle.
Yes, he did! No. The Monopoly guy apparently never had a monocle, that one single rim But
Why do we think it?
we bought him.
That is wild.
I played Monopoly for God knows how. He had a monocle.
But he didn't.
No, he changed it.
Who changed it?
That's what fucks with your head. Some of them I didn't agree with. Well, peanut butter, Jif.
Yeah.
But that was Jiffy.
Some of them for you didn't work. Yeah.
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 What was the other ones?
Looney Tunes. That one messed with me a little bit.
I always knew it was that.
I never thought about it.
I always knew it was that. That one didn't get me.
It's Toons, right? Or is it Tuns? You don't even know.
Yes, I do.
Which is it? Don't look it up.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. I'm not looking it up. I don't know right now what it is.
No,
It's
it was
Toons.
Tunes. It was Tunes. There you go. It was always Tunes.
Wow, but they're cartoons, though.
That's not what it is, though.
I can see the double O.
I never did. There's some other ones. I gotta look this up now.
Yeah, Jaws. You're gonna need a bigger boat, but that's not what he says.
No, the Luke thing is big. Star Wars.
So is Jaws.
But that's what he says. We're gonna need a bigger.
No.
He says, I think you're gonna need a bigger boat.
Nah, it's something else.
All right, here's 40 mind-blowing Mandela effect things.
Oh, God.
Obviously, number one is Nelson Mandela. Number two was Jif, not Jiffy. I never saw Jiffy. When I saw
Jiffy reminds me of more popcorn. Jiffy Pop.
Looney Tunes, not Tunes, which I always thought was T-U-N-E-S.
You could show me both. I would
Berenstein Bears, both of us agree on.
forget about it.
All right, Curious George never had a tail.
That one I never thought, I would never know the difference either way.
I never really paid attention to Curious George, but I always thought he had a tail.
Yeah, I would. He's a monkey. You would assume he had a tail.
But he didn't.
I know.
All right, I'll go back. I don't get that one. It's
can't
stupid.
handle this.
All right, Febreze has
Oh, there's
one.
one E, not two.
I always thought it had one.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't just me. Oscar Mayer, I always thought was spelled the way it was, like John Mayer.
Yeah.
Your body is your wine. A lot of people think it's M-E-Y, which there's a fucking song. It's spelled M-A-Y-E-R, B-O-L-G-N-A. Come on. All right, Skechers.
Whoa, that's a new one. There's no T, right?
No, there never was.
Yeah.
No, that was dumb too. Fruit Loops. It was always F-R-O-O-T, which I knew. You?
Wow, I never thought about it.
It was though. I knew that.
I would have to see it.
Because I always remember the two cereals. F-R-O-O was like two
yes.
cereals,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Gucci.
King Henry VIII had a turkey leg.
No, he didn't.
For some reason, people distinctly remember the portrait of Henry VIII showing him holding a turkey leg. To be clear, he was not. That's all it says. Monopoly Man and his monocle.
Never had it.
I guess this is what it says. It suggests that it might be a confusion between him and the Planters Peanut, who did have a monocle.
Wow. Because they both had top hats.
Kit Kat. Never had a hyphen.
Didn't lose sleep over that one. Fruit of the Loom.
It had a cornucopia. Yes, it did.
Let me see.
Okay. If they didn't think so, then why did they make that logo? It had a cornucopia. No? Yeah.
So then why would they have
This is the one you saw?
That's the real one?
Yes. Ain't no way. Okay. Fruit of the Loom, they made drawers. I don't know if they still make them, but they used to make like socks and drawers and
Wow.
shit. And the Fruit of the Loom logo
I
apparently...
never saw that one.
I always thought it had a cornucopia. I'll show you what it says. It did. It had a cornucopia. No way, bro. Apparently on the Fruit of the Loom logo on the tag on your drawers, it had, like, they used to have them running around. It was like the grapes were running around, right? There was a guy in the grapes. There was a cornucopia in there somewhere. Who would come up with the logo if it didn't? It had to have existed, or else why would you think of a fucking cornucopia? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't you think of like a tree or like a vine? You thought of a cornucopia? No one thinks a cornucopia is on Thanksgiving. Therefore, I know that there was a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom. Ain't no way. Boy, no way, boy. How about Cheez-It? People thought Cheez-It had a Z at the end. That just sounded like the way like half my family used to say shit. You have some Cheez-Its? Like, no, it's Cheez-It. Double Stuff Oreo only had one F. I knew that. Did you? Never cared. Mona Lisa used to have a smile. Now she doesn't. C-3PO has a silver leg. Y'all think I'm making this shit up. Hold on, watch this. I have a C-3PO over there. If this thing has a silver fucking leg, I'm gonna lose my mind. I swear to God, if this thing has a silver leg. He doesn't! See? They lie, bro! Okay, I have an officially licensed Star...
What if they...
In the perennial. Star perennial. Good.
Wait, read it. Make sure people think he has a silver
Bro,
leg.
it's licensed. It's real. It's a Disney Lucasfilm licensed C-3PO. They're lying to us. This is licensed. Am I lying?
Looks good.
It's licensed.
Disney.
I'm not making this up. Does this C-3PO have a silver leg?
No.
No.
He's got a bronze arm.
He always did. I'm not making this up, bro.
Read it. It's gonna say something.
They're lying, bro. They're lying. Even the biggest Star Wars fans and Halloween costume sites get it.
See?
So we're wrong. An officially licensed... Okay, this isn't a Mandela effect. I actually have it.
Yeah, but you have to Google stuff now.
The robot isn't all gold. He has one silver piece on his right leg.
Watch the movie.
How many times I've watched Star Wars? Come on, man.
You're not paying attention to CP3O's leg.
Sure I am.
What? Why?
How many times I've watched Star Wars?
How many times I've played Monopoly?
Nah, not the same. You know how many times you played Monopoly? Can you Monopoly? You know Monopoly?
Monopoly, yeah.
The town in Italy. Monopoly town. Can you name everything about Napoli?
Monopoly? Absolutely. Good pizza.
Napoli town. Ice cream too. That's Neapolitan. Same thing.
Neapolitan. I can.
I can tell you what planet Luke Skywalker's son is from.
I can tell you every treasure chest, every chance. I can tell you every...
Can you?
Absolutely.
Name all the streets then. Okay, and this is one that you... I remember this. I said this before you before.
Flintstones.
Yeah. It has two T's. A lot of people think it's Flintstone.
Flynn, yeah.
But it's not. It's Flintstones, which I've always known.
And like Flint.
Chartreuse.
It's green.
Did anyone ever recall telling you chartreuse is a magenta pink color? So many others agree with you, but in reality it's a shade of green. I thought it was yellow. Not lying.
I thought it was an animal.
The Tom Hanks thing I've always known. Life is like a box of chocolates. Which he says life was like a box of chocolates. Everybody knows that. Snow White says magic mirror on the wall. She never says mirror, mirror on the wall. The Luke thing, Luke, I am your father. He says, no, I am your father. I knew that. I never watched that. I don't know what that is. Hello, Clarice. He never says it. He says good morning. Wait, now I gotta watch it again. Because all I remember that movie is him tucking his shit between his legs and going, alright, fuck me. You don't like that.
No.
I don't believe this one either. The song, We Are the Champions.
Yeah, he doesn't do it.
Yes, he does!
My friends, what does he say? Wait, check. Of the world.
Yes, he does!
He doesn't say it.
I've listened to that song with Bill. Come on, man. You went GJB. We listened to that shit. He says of the world. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Ain't no way.
I saw that one a lot, too. That one's popular. But yeah, he definitely does say it. Of the world.
This is why I don't believe any of this shit. C-3PO has two golden legs. And this is licensed by Disney. You can tell me fucking Disney is wrong?
Probably. No, you know what they're doing.
Oh, boy. Mr. Rogers never says it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. He says this neighborhood. A lot of people think there's 51 or 52 states.
That's true. So many people think there's 52 states.
Where are you getting the other two?
I don't know.
This is why I think people are stupid. Because the reason they probably thought there were 52 states is because when you look at the map of the U.S., it says, okay, here's the map of the U.S., here's 50 states, and then here's the other two sitting off to the side. So a lot of people don't realize that it's the continental 48, and then Alaska, Hawaii. I'm not getting into that today, but they're the other two. We stole one. But, you know, we take things. But that's fine. Twice. Fine. Keystone Pipeline, fracking is fine.
Fracking, great idea, fracking. Barack Obama thought there was 52.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
That's the Mandela effect.
I'm telling you.
No.
He went, we got 52. He did.
He never said that!
Don't take my word for it.
Let me type it in.
Good.
Let me look it up.
He went, we got 52.
Do you want to, like, lock that in?
Yes.
Okay. Obama. Is it like Dan Quayle?
He can't spell.
He couldn't spell potato.
Yeah.
That's true.
Exactly.
Obama, 52.
Exactly. Thanks.
States.
You hear about this? You hear about this?
You're jail. How does it say Obama?
Obama. Is he like a linebacker for like the Browns? Everybody's a walkboo or something now.
Obama only said he visited 57 Islamic states. Fake news media didn't cover it. That's what Trump said.
That's great.
So where'd you find that? Go ahead, find it. Okay, here we go. There's another reference I see cited more often. A reporter asked him how he was holding up near the end of the primaries, and he said, how many of these are there? 56, 57. Right? Is that what you're talking about?
What?
A reporter asked him how he was holding up near the end of the primaries. Right? You know what primaries are?
Yes.
Okay, and he said, how many of them are there? 56, 57.
States?
They never said that. That's where people got misquoted. Now, the thing about that...
said 52.
Now, the thing about that...
Think about it.
The thing about that is a lot of people may not realize, but there are actually 56 primaries.
Yeah, because like the
Puerto Rico,
Samoa,
Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Washington, D.C. So if you can find... And this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And I'm not, like, saying this in your sense, but I'm saying this in just the sense of 2021 and now 2022 almost as a whole. Sometimes people can take one piece of misinformation and just fucking run with it and then tell, and not in your case, but in general, on why they don't like someone. Someone will actually be like, and not you, people will be like, oh, Obama's stupid. He thought there were 52 states. And then when you say, okay, can you please show me where the fuck you found that? They can't find it. I'm not saying you're using it as a reason to not like him. That's why I'm saying not you. But there are people that actually do that.
I could have sworn I heard him say it.
Again,
Maybe it was 57 states.
he meant 56 primaries, which there are. And that's the crazy part. Because people do that all the time. I can give you...
You're absolutely right that John McCain has not...
no. He's going to look for it, but he never found it because Barack, he went to school. Him, his daughter, Sasha, Malia, Michelle, his wife, never actually said that stupid shit. But, you know, people out there, they want
It says back in 2008, he lost track of how many states he hoped to govern as president.
govern states. He said that. Really? I don't understand, and again, I'm not even talking about our former president at this point, but in general, how one American citizen doesn't know there's 50 states. You're a moron.
A lot of people say that.
Again, I'm going to double down on what I just said. If you live in America and you want to call yourself whatever, and you don't know how many states there are in this country, you're a fucking
Do you
idiot.
realize they didn't even teach kids how to tell time?
They did when we were kids.
We're a far cry from what they're teaching today.
They don't need to anymore. They don't teach kids how to do anything. They don't know how to teach them how to write cursive
They
either.
do need to. Exactly. How are you going to sign your name?
You don't sign your name the way you write. I don't. You do. I don't. My signature doesn't look like my handwriting.
Yeah, but still, come on. Tell time. A lot of clocks are, not all clocks are digital.
Yes, there are some analog clocks left, but the majority of people that have watches don't even use the watch to tell time anymore. It's a fashion statement.
Right, but either way, they're not teaching it.
I agree with you. I don't know where our curriculum went wrong.
That's my point.
I think the curriculum in general in the United States is stupid.
Yep.
We don't learn basic life skills, but we learn how to do calculus.
Exactly.
Makes no sense. So we're in agreement on that.
And you see the math they teach today?
I don't even want to look at it.
I don't even know what that is.
I know, my nephew brought it up. I didn't fucking looking at it. I said, okay. He asked me for help. I went, listen, I said, kid, you might be on your own, because I don't even know what I'm... You have to, like,
Work
draw, like,
backwards.
matchsticks and shit. What the fuck am I doing? Just give me... Nah. I don't get it. You know who's to blame for this? I actually read an article the other day. The baby boomers. It has to do with the baby boomers. It's like they were given a head start in life, and then they passed a bunch of laws so that nobody else could get the same things they had. So people use this analogy. The baby boomers climbed the ladder of opportunity and they kicked the ladder over. Which I think is kind of true. Think about it. As an American citizen today, as opposed to... Baby boomers are the last generation that could afford stuff. When they became
You
adults.
think that, and I think they're trying to make everybody more stupid.
What does that have to do with the
Because
fact...
who's making our curriculum?
Now? I don't know.
Always.
I don't know. Who?
Come on.
Is this an obvious answer or one of your answers?
Both. It should be obvious.
Hillary Clinton?
She probably has a hand in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't think that there is a difference in the opportunities that people were presented when they grew up in... Okay, baby boomers, if you don't know the baby boomer era, it's post-World War II to 1965. That's the baby boomers, right? So you're talking early 50s to 65. 65. So if you were born in... It's actually 64. 65 is Gen X. But anyway, if you were born in 1950, by the time you were of age to start living your life, right? You were back then mid-20s, is 1975 to 1980, somewhere in there. You don't think that people in that era had a much better opportunity than people today do? In general. Fuck everything else.
Yes. Of course.
So you're going to blame that on like the curriculum? I don't think so.
No. Well, you're saying two totally different things.
That's what I was talking about when I said the baby boomers.
They have more opportunities.
Why, though?
Well, for starters, there were less people in the world.
There was a huge influx of people during the baby boom.
Yeah, but nothing was done. Not everything was done yet. Today, everything is done. When back then, not many women were in the workforce yet, so more jobs were for men.
Okay.
You know, like things like that.
But I'm going to disagree with that because you can say that about any era. Like, you can say that before the wheel was invented, as opposed to now, or before people had cars, or the train, or telegrams,
And they
or
had
telephones,
opportunity.
or the internet, or so. Yes, but my point is, life was a lot more ABC in the 70s. 1980 changed everything, in my opinion. That's when boomers were in their 30s and 40s. And it changed everything, in my opinion. And it's when things went by the wayside. Because if you were born and you lived and you were an adult in the 60s, it didn't matter what job you held. Whether you worked for Silicon Valley, which didn't exist back then, or you were a bus driver. Don't say it.
No bus.
You still could live off that. You can't.
Financially.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot now.
Right.
And even if you do afford yourself a decent job, if you get a decent job in 2021, let alone, I'll even go back further, in 2010, if you had a decent job, what was the one prerequisite they asked for you? Every job that you applied for when you started working, what did they ask you for? College diploma.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't get a fucking job without it.
Yeah.
Any decent job, right? What did you have to do to go to college? Almost every person. I'm one of the few that didn't.
What'd you have to do to go to college?
Yes.
Get good grades.
Fuck the grades.
Score good.
In order to go to college, in order to pay for college,
Take out a loan.
you're already down. They did not have to do that. You did not have to take a loan out for anything. Credit scores didn't exist until 1980. They weren't even a thing. People don't realize how much different it was back then. If you were born, if you lived
But that's
before,
not the baby boomers' fault.
they changed the laws after that.
Yeah, the baby boomers didn't.
Yes, they did. boomers were the ones that went and became the senators and like there was from an economic standpoint after World War II, we were at an all-time high. That was when everything was fucking great, right? Our economy was crazy because we used a lot of like war bonds and shit like that after World War II. Like that's when our economy was at its highest. They were given an advantage, and instead of giving generational wealth, which other parents before that did, the silent generation and so on and so forth. Silent generation of people born in the 30s. And they did things so they wanted their kids to live better. Boomers were the first ones to look back and be like, you fucking kids don't know everything. Where's your money? Well, because we pay $2,000 for a studio apartment in fucking Manhattan is where it is. Like, it's the first time that we couldn't collect and save. Back then, as a boomer, you could save money. You can't now. You cannot live working 40 hours a week. The millennials are the first generation of people who cannot live. The majority of millennials are in debt. We're all in debt because you went to college. Doesn't matter. Even the people that don't think they're in debt, you're in debt. You're literally paying $600, $500, $700 a month so that you could work. And if you didn't, your alternative was to go work somewhere where everybody else, your coworkers are 17, 18 years old and they're making a minimum wage. And you can't live off minimum wage anymore. We're the first era. Millennials are fucking broke. So because of that, millennials are also the first era who started to quit working. Like, we just said, fuck you, I'm not going to work anymore because you're not paying me enough. Like, I'm working 40 hours a week as hard as I can, and I can't pay my fucking bills. Gen Z is worse than us.
Why do you think that is?
What do I think? Which part?
Why can't we afford anything?
Inflation.
You know why that happened?
Which part? Yes, I do.
The inflation?
Yeah. In the 80s? Because we borrowed money that we didn't have.
Well, because once women went to work...
That wasn't the 80s, though.
Before that.
Okay.
Women's lib. Once women went to work, the government got smart and said, oh, wow, okay, so now there's two incomes in a household. So now a house that used to cost $10,000 costs $50,000. And everything else.
That's a part of it.
Big part of it.
Yes. The inflation on houses started in the 70s.
Forget about it.
Yes, they did.
It's no coincidence.
Now, the problem is that when the inflation started, a lot of boomers already owned their houses.
Right.
So they started giving...
So there's a lot of immigrants that came here and they bought up the blocks.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
I know.
That's also true. But the other problem that happened is in the 80s, the cost of everything went up by 3 or 4...
The government went like this.
But who in the 80s, again, when it came to trickle-down economics, that was Reagan's thing, right? Mm-hmm. What was he referring to? Reagan. When he called it trickle-down. A lot of people don't understand why Reagan sucked. Reagan sucked. And the trickle-down economics thing was that he would give tax cuts, which is why in the 80s the wealth gap went like this. You either were really rich or you didn't have shit. Because the tax cuts went towards the elites, the wealthy in this country. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, he said, well, because they have more money, they'll be willing to give more of it away. Which is the stupidest fucking premise I've ever heard in my life. But that's actually what happened. I'm being vague when I say that. Anybody who wants to get into the details of it. But that was the gist of it. Basically, he said that the people who had money in this country, if you gave them more tax cuts, they would in turn, it would trickle down. Not spend it, because they had it. They wouldn't spending it. It was about them giving more wealth and opportunities to the people below them because they had more themselves. What he basically said, it would be like me going, okay, well, you're in a class of 30 people. Here you go. Here's $1 million. Just share it with your friends.
Because they employ people, right?
Yeah, but who the fuck's going to share it? They didn't. So, that's what happened. It's crazy to think about. But that was the idea. There were extremely expansive tax cuts on the rich. George Bush tried to piggyback off of that when he got elected, his read my lips, no new taxes plan. And he's the last president, other than Trump, to serve one term. Bush Sr., may he rest in peace. He's the last one to do so. Mm-hmm. But that was when it happened. The prices of college in the 80s went up. It was like, I forget the exact number, but I'm not even like exaggerating when I say like 300 or 400% more than what it used to cost. People who before that could pay their way through college like me and you pay our way like paying for a car. People could buy houses, right? You saved up money for a year or two, you bought a house. You didn't owe money for the rest of your life. Everything now that you do that's considered American dream, you're literally borrowing money from people because you cannot afford it. Your house, nobody owns their own shit. You're paying a bank who actually owns a house.
Exactly.
Your car, your loan, like you come out of college and you're thousands of dollars in debt. That's where the problem started. And back then, ask anybody who lived in the 80s. I was actually, because I have a couple of clients.
Said you had to go to college though.
Now they did. Yes, you do. If you want a job that pays more than $15 an hour, you gotta go to college.
You know how much a plumber makes?
Now.
Then, now, and it's always going to be needed.
But what's the difference between a plumber now and a plumber then? And what is it? Okay, and I'll put it this way.
More now.
But did you know that plumbers made more money than people who graduated college when you were in high school?
When I was in high school?
Yes.
Did I know that? No.
Why? You went to your guidance counselor.
I'm gonna level with you.
Excuse me.
I didn't really know who made money.
When you went to your, I know.
Did you think about that from college?
But in your head, who made the money? Why did you go to college? We both went to college.
I was kind of forced though.
Why? That's my point. Now we're getting on the right page here.
Yeah.
Why were we forced to go to college? It was ingrained in us.
Because it was good to have in case you needed it.
What the fuck does that mean?
The diploma.
Am I not agreeing when I say this? Most of the people that we know that make the most money didn't graduate college. Why did they tell us from the minute we got into high school and we talked to our fucking guidance counselors every year? Oh, the college applications. You gotta go to college. Here you gotta fill it. Why? Why was it ingrained in us? What you're saying is true. People who learn trades, mechanics, plumbers, shit like that, make more money than teachers.
But, yeah, right. Some teachers, forget about it.
Normal teachers.
Not,
okay.
That was my point.
Okay, not the good old
boy. If you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be a lawyer, if you're going to be a principal. Doctors, lawyers.
I'm not talking about the good old boy network.
But you have to go to college for that.
They had to go to college too.
Who?
Okay. I don't know where he is, and I hope he doesn't hear this, but did Mr. Friendsman make as much money as some of the people you're talking about? The good old boys.
Friendsman is sitting pretty right now.
How long did he work?
Probably till he was 65.
Longer, but yes.
Can't be a teacher without a college diploma.
Teachers don't make that much.
Yeah, but teachers don't care because they're set. Do you know what a teacher's pension is, bro?
Okay, but Mr. Friendsman graduated high school when? And retired when? He retired in 2003.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Friendsman... I'm bringing up fucking teachers. Mr. Friendsman retired in 2003. Did he pay for college?
I have no idea. I mean, he did, obviously, but...
Okay. Do you think that he owed money, student loans, or on his fucking house?
Probably
He's
not.
clearly a boomer. That's the fucking difference. Mr. Friendsman might be sitting pretty, but the people we graduated with...
That's just call it luck, call it what you want. That's
No,
a
it's
generation.
But again, they passed shit in the 60s, 70s, 80s to make sure that this generation doesn't do that. Now, Gen Z got smarter. A lot of these students are taking gap years now. They're not taking loans out, or they're not even going to college. Millennials are the only generation that literally got fucked. It's crazy. We are the brokest generation of all time. Gen Xers did not go to college. My parents are Gen Xers. They did not go to college. They live okay, right? They started just like most people did, right? I don't want to say the thing because you're going to laugh when I say it, but when they had me and my sister, we were poor. We didn't have any money. But they worked, right? They worked 40 hours. They worked hard. They saved money. They didn't owe the fucking money that we did.
Correct.
So that by the time that they got to their 30s and me and my sister were old enough, like, they could buy a house. Millennials cannot fucking do that. It's crazy. We can't do it. Because we get out of college and we start working in some job where they're making 25K and they're paying $600. We're the oldest generation to start living outside of our parents' houses. Most people that are millennials, they don't move out until they're in their 30s. That was unheard of by Gen Xers, and especially boomers. Boomers got 18, right? You graduated high school, you never went home again.
But look also where we live.
It's not just New Jersey, though.
Like, you go to Florida, school's free.
But the whole state?
A lot of colleges.
Well, there's no state tax. It's different.
Different?
How does a state with no state tax give free education to their students? How does that make sense? Think about it out loud.
I don't know, but it's true.
Most people I know from Florida paid for college.
Florida State is free. You gotta get accepted.
How many, even if that were true, which I could look it up, it doesn't matter.
Look it up. Check me. Something. Let me tell you something. Something in Florida is free.
This is, again, it's kind of like Florida State
This is the Obama thing.
tuition. Florida State tuition. In-state, $6,000 a year. Out-of-state, $19,000.
Oh, okay, so it's not free, but that's you get a
How
discount
much do you think
if you
tuition
live.
is in Montclair State? It ain't much.
It ain't 6.
How much does it cost?
Montclair State is a ridiculous.
Based on
William Patterson.
Here we go.
is 6.
Here we go. Based on published tuition prices, the estimate a current cost of a 4 years bachelor degree with living expenses at Florida State is $89,000, assuming graduation in normal time.
So $90,000 to graduate from Florida State.
You're putting yourself $90K in debt so you can work a fucking desk job and make $30K a year. That's my point.
Why are you choosing to work a desk job?
Because you went to college. That's what they told you to do.
Be a lawyer.
Gen Z figured that shit out. And even as a lawyer, my cousin's a doctor. How much fucking does it cost to put yourself through law school?
A lot.
There you go.
But if you're a good doctor, you pay it off in 5 to 10 years.
Even with residency, some schools do it, just like there are some places as teachers that pay off your grad school. Maybe, but there's not enough hands to get fed. You went to, like, I was fortunate. I got a scholarship, so I'm not even complaining on my own behalf. Like, I didn't pay for school because I could run fast and jump high. But most of my friends did. Like, it's not fair. In order to work a normal, could you imagine what we would be living like? And I mean we, our generation, would be living like if you didn't owe $700, $600, $500 a month, making $2,000 a month? It's a quarter of your paycheck. And we're the first and only generation because Gen Z literally said, fuck you, I won't go then. And they're starting to do jobs where they don't work for anybody, right? They're influencers. They're, you know, like shit like YouTubers and weird shit like that. I'm on YouTube now, but it's going back the other way. It's crazy. I look at all this shit, and you're right. Like Friendsman, right? We're bringing up Friendsman again because Friendsman is a literal boomer, and he retired, you know, in 2000 and mid 2000s, whatever, 2004, mid 2000. But like he's sitting pretty right now. But that's because that's the way it should be. You should be able to, whether you went to college or not, graduate college, work 40 hours a week, make money, buy things, save money, and then retire. That's the way it should be. But it's not. That's my gripe. And boomers had a lot to do with that because when boomers got old enough, because now millennials are becoming Congress people. So things are starting to shift, the paradigms of you know, government. But when boomers started to become in power, they started shifting the laws to like, almost like benefit themselves. It's fucking weird. Like, look this shit up. It's a weird shit. I don't know. Just a thought.
A lot of people make the best out of college, and some people don't. I think a lot of it is your own choices, too.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. You still should not put yourself $90K in debt. It's just stupid.
Financial aid.
But you still have to take a loan out. You have to qualify for financial aid. I didn't qualify for financial aid. I have to fill out my FAFSA forms. It comes with, even a scholarship athlete does. Every year. As a scholarship athlete, you fill out your FAFSA form, even though it's pronounced FAFSA. No one says it. I can't either.
Mandela effect.
It is FAFSA, but you fill out your form, and if I would have qualified for grants and aids and all that other shit, I would have gotten money sent to me. There were people on my team who were full ticket jocks like I was, and were getting $10,000 a semester because their parents were poor. How come I didn't get that? Because my parents were considered too rich because we lived in Jersey, where here we don't make shit, but around the country you do make shit. I just find it like stupid.
System, bro.
I agree with, like, I just don't think, and I'm not playing favorites because I don't like any politician, but like Joe Biden actually said it's ridiculous that we live in a country where you have to work 40 hours a week and you can't live. I just don't think anybody should disagree with that. I don't like him. I don't like any of them. I'm not going into that. But I just don't understand why that exists till this day. Why is somebody that works living paycheck to paycheck, but you're...
Meanwhile, gas is $3.30 here.
That's OPEC. It has nothing to do with us.
It could be fixed.
By who?
The president.
What's he supposed to do?
Frack.
He is, though. You know,
About time.
but he is. He did. Again, I'm going to preface this again. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like anybody. But facts are facts. He is opening up our reserves so that he can try to reduce the cost.
Good.
That did happen.
I bought 3 steaks yesterday. You know how much it cost?
3 states?
Steaks.
Steaks?
Yeah.
Like more?
Yep.
How big were they?
Big.
Huge?
Massive.
Figuring $60?
70.
Yeah, all right.
Ridiculous.
That's how much it costs.
No.
If you bought 3 like ribeye steaks, they're
Good
gonna run
size steaks.
Yeah.
No way.
Run you about $20 a piece. They do.
$25 a steak? Out of your mind. Never. You're better off buying a cow.
But that's pretty normal now.
Now. Yeah. This guy's talking about college. He should go to college.
Again, you're blaming Joe Biden for that?
Yeah.
You think it's his fault?
Yes.
Do you understand how capitalism works?
His policies are garbage. Bottom line.
Okay.
Anybody, even he'll tell you that.
I am not here to dispute that, because I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
But he doesn't control steak prices.
No,
This is-
he doesn't directly control it. No.
This is a capitalist country.
Right.
Market is set by the people who own the business.
So what are they? They're mad at him, so they're raising steak prices?
No, that's not how it works, though. It's not like the government does not set the prices on anything.
Correct.
So
Their policies influence.
show me the policy that influences that.
So why is steak so high? Why is gas so high?
OPEC, gas-wise.
Why did they choose now to raise prices?
Well, the prices of gasoline, oil per barrel, they plummeted last year during the pandemic. Why? Nobody was driving. Right? I didn't drive, you didn't drive during the pandemic. So the prices of oil went down. During the pandemic, I didn't touch
People
my...
have been driving for a long time now.
That's not the point. That's OPEC sets the prices. It has nothing to do with the president. It's nothing. Nothing. People talk about the Keystone Pipeline. It has nothing to do with the U.S.
It's what they trade on in the stock market.
Still has nothing to do with the president.
No, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Highly influenced. The price of oil should directly affect the price of gas.
Still
It's a
has...
commodity.
Yes, it does, but that has nothing to do with the president, is what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with...
It's also volatility, how people feel when a certain president is in office.
You
All
think
these
that
things
affects
affect
the gas?
Absolutely. Affects the stock market.
The stock market is affected by businesses, what they're doing.
No,
Why do
no,
stocks...
No, stock markets aren't affected by that.
By businesses?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
So when businesses merge, stock prices don't go up or down.
Potentially.
Well, how does an IPO work? Businesses are the stock. That is the stock.
The business's stock is not dictated by how well the business does.
Correct. It's dictated by trends and shit like that. Yes, it's fairy dust.
That's it.
Okay, so I'll give you an example of like... Give me a
Just
stock...
market makers. They set the price and they go from there.
Okay, so you watch The Big Short.
I know a little bit about stocks, yes.
You watch movies like that. You watch things like try to give you another example. Okay, I'll give
Wall Street.
2 stocks last year that fucking flew. Why?
Because somebody made an announcement.
AMC stock flew last year.
Yeah.
And GameStop.
Well, they shorted those.
The opposite, actually.
Well, the long.
Do you know why GameStop stock flew last
What's
year?
the opposite of you short?
But do you know why GameStop's stock flew last year?
Yeah, because people got together.
Fucking Reddit groups.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Correct, but that's an abnormality.
But how are you going to... No, it's not. That's how stock works.
No, that the little guy did it. Usually the big guys do it.
Well, they know how to short stocks more.
That's what I'm saying. It
The
has no direct effect on Apple because they do so well with their crap.
Apple costs too much money to do that.
No. What I'm saying is
do
Apple
you
could
short
come
Apple?
out with a new car that flies. It might affect it,
The
yes.
stock would go up.
Of course it would.
The problem is that-
because of the announcement.
Yes, but Apple's stock is already so high that people can't just buy into Apple.
All right, I'm just using that as an
But I'm giving you why Apple's stock doesn't do that.
Some people can.
Amazon.
The big
stock
wheels
doesn't-
can afford it.
But even if you bought in at a share, it's not worth it. That's why, people don't make money off of, stock like that. It's when you're talking about, Bitcoin, I'm not going into the Bitcoin shit, but, AMC and the biggest examples I can give. Why did Peloton stock go up so high during the pandemic last year? Because everybody and their fucking mother purchased a fucking Peloton. That's why it went up. That's what happened. Everybody do you remember that shit? I mean, people I knew during the pandemic that got Pelotons, the stock flew. And then Peloton stock crashed. You remember that? Why Peloton stock crashed?
No, I didn't follow.
Peloton stock crashed because they had a treadmill that people were dying on. So when it got announced that Peloton was giving people a refund, their stock went, ew. The business does affect the stock.
Of course it does.
Wait,
Initially. But after that, it takes some type of announcement or something for it to go up or down.
But that's from the business. That's how the business works. Like, Amazon stock skyrocketed when they purchased things like Ring or Whole Foods or things like that. But those types of stocks are so high at this point, it would take a lot. But if Jeff Bezos announced tomorrow that he was liquidating Amazon, it'd be worth shit. Yes, people manipulate stocks. That's insider trading type of shit. Or think about how Wolf of Wall Street worked. How
tomorrow, people can pick a stock and just hop on it.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how stocks work.
So that has no direct effect of how well the business is doing at the time.
Well, it does based off of announcements and things that happen within the business, but sometimes things can be manipulated.
Correct.
Because stock is a business in its own, which is crazy. It's supply and demand. Like, if no one wants to buy a certain stock in a company, you'll get it for nothing.
Right.
But if everybody wants it, the price skyrockets.
Correct.
That's how it works.
Right, but there's no rhyme or reason usually as to why.
Sometimes
Nobody
not.
says, ooh, I want to buy Marlboro stock.
I mean, good luck. Good luck getting into Marlboro. You could, if you wanted to.
Marlboro's not that expensive.
Right now, cigarettes.
Right, so what would make Marlboro stock go up?
IPOs, Marlboro closing the doors, merging with
Picking it, saying we're gonna short it, we're gonna do this with it.
Well, that's how that's how you manipulate any market. The stock is a market at the end of the day. It's a living, breathing thing. You can do that with anything. Anything. Why do PlayStation 5s cost so much right now? You can't fucking find one. But you can't find one. Supply and demand. Because people are buying them and price gouging. Why was hand sanitizer so expensive last year? Same idea. That's how markets work. Supply and demand. There's a large demand for something. The supply is finite. So if the supply outweighs the demand, or vice versa, will cause why it goes up or down in price. That's how any market works. Like, houses, last year. House market's booming right now. Last year, it cratered. Same thing happens with gasoline. Last year, nobody drove their car. Therefore, people weren't purchasing gas. So the price of gas went down. Because it had to. Because they had to get rid of it. So they sell it. Now, things are going back the other way. So the prices go.
But prior to the pandemic, the gas prices were fine.
Again, the pandemic is a huge deal. It literally stopped people from driving their fucking...
But before pandemic.
Yes, that was normal. But when something happens, like a pandemic, when everybody stops driving, everybody's working remotely, commuters, but now more and more people are starting to go back to work. So they gotta start filling their tanks up again, which means the demand is starting to go the other way. So what you're gonna have is companies having some like work.
So why are steaks more?
Same idea. Same idea. That's how it works.
So the cows didn't go to work?
Okay, I'll give you a weird example. Why do
they can print trillions of dollars?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's not where cost of goods comes from. Cost of goods. That's not where it comes from. It's not where it comes from. Why? Where are the two states where food costs the most?
New Jersey and New York. Tennessee. Georgia. Florida.
Nope.
Hawaii.
States. There you go. Why?
It's far.
You gotta ship that shit out there.
That's why they live off the fat of the land over there.
So things like steak. Where do cows come from?
South. West.
Where do you think the fucking cows are cheapest? Where do you think beef is the cheapest?
Where they're at.
Why?
Because it's
they don't have to fucking ship it.
Yeah.
Bro, when I was in Iowa, you could get fucking pigs for nothing. There's fucking pigs everywhere. You could get pork, bacon, cheap as fuck. Chewing tobacco, cheap as fuck.
Yeah, but fix it though.
But then you have to grow it here.
No, you don't.
What?
You can print trillions. Give these people money to help the supply chain.
You in this chain?
Yeah.
Who's been talking to you about supply chains?
Everybody. It's everywhere.
But that's not how it...
People always said there was a shortage of pumpkins, a shortage of turkeys. There's not a shortage of anything.
Yes, there are.
No, there's not. You can't get it to the people.
You still have to grow them.
That's not the problem. They're growing plenty of pumpkins, bro.
They go bad.
Just do the right thing.
It goes bad.
What goes bad? Get it out.
Pumpkins go bad.
They go bad if you hold on to them. This one guy was on news. He said, "I don't know. We have plenty of pumpkins, but nobody's picking them up."
Do you understand the fucking logistics of getting the pumpkin from fucking John the Q Public in Montana?
What's so hard? They never had a problem.
Infrastructure.
Supply All of a sudden.
Okay.
Come on, man. You can't even say this with a straight face.
Because I find it laughable, but it's
embarrassing.
True. Okay. Remember last year? I can't with this guy.
I can't with you.
As much as people love our OPEC conversation, Mr. OPEC is going to fucking...
OPEC, great people, OPEC.
Okay. What came first, the OPEC or the egg?
The egg.
All right. It was great. I don't even know. It was like 3 hours of fucking fun at this point.
It's good.
Wonderful. But Neil,
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
this guy's shot.
Forget it.
Topics galore. We'll be back
Hard hitting.
sometime.
Hard
Bye.
hitting.